Do you want to grow monster potatoes? I'll show you how. I'm Mallory from Quebec Homestead. Welcome to my farm. Here in Quebec, our growing season is very short. Seems like just yesterday I was laying hay down here this spring and waiting for the right time to plant. Well, the season is now past, and now it's time to collect my reward. As a sole gardener and full-time homesteader, it is a great feeling to harvest what I've been working so hard to produce all summer long. In this video, I will show you what I did from A to Z, from seed to harvest, to get these monster potatoes. It's hard to believe that this garden has not had compost in it for the past 3 growing seasons. I'll explain how I set this garden up in another video, but today I'm going to stick to only potatoes. Last fall, the snow hit so early that I was unable to lay down the hay before things just got covered in ice. So if you remember in my spring thaw video, I decided to lay down my hay as soon as I was able to get into the garden. Let's go back to June 14th, 2020. That's the date that I planted my potatoes this year. And I planted 2 varieties, the white potatoes that I had bought from the local grocery store and a red potato that the mayor of my village donated to the teen market garden last year. The variety is unknown, but they give great French fry potatoes. I decided to test out 2 planting methods this year. The first one I'm going to show you is simply planting a whole potato in 5-inch deep trench and covering it with hay. I like to choose the big potatoes because I want them to grow and the genetics to strive and become really big potatoes. So that's usually what I use. Really big ones, you can put them to the side like that, cover them a bit. But seriously, you can just drop them on there and it'll grow too. I did that last year. So these are the in-ground potatoes that I'm going to put some hay over these, and then I'm going to go full Ruth Stout method at the end of this aisle. You guys want to see why I mulch now and I don't till? This is why. Decompacted soil. Beautiful organic material. Let's go full-blown Ruth Stout now. So stay tuned to see which one I prefer and why. Once again, the biggest ones, drop it. We shall see how this turns out. I'm not one for spacings. I'm just literally doing what Ruth Stout did. So you'll see the difference once I'm done. Now I didn't weed in this. I didn't water it. I just dropped them in there, covered them with hay, and hope for the best. Okay, some are red at the surface. I can't wait to see my other variety. They're monstrous. Well, I wasn't sure if I was gonna edit this video before harvesting my red potatoes. I'm really glad that I didn't. Alright, so this is pure Ruth Stout side. You see I have these potatoes that rooted out and they were dropped right on the surface, so I just took off the hay. So this is the result, I think, of 2 potatoes. Why do I keep saying tomatoes? Alright, so 1, 2. monsters came in from the Ruth Stout side. That's one potato. There's probably still underneath because I'm not bothering to go very deep. This is a pretty standard. I got these from the grocery store. Some people say don't do it. They're not organic. They got that big product on them. They won't sprout. I guess I got lucky. I needed some and they had some. So, gotta say, I have a really awesome local grocery store. I've been battling this quaggrass for a few years now. It's getting to a point where there's a lot less in there, but it's still there. I removed it all by hand, mostly, for the most part. I'm really going through this whole thing by hand. I don't have any tools to, and I don't want to hurt my potatoes either, so I just go by hand. I love getting my hands dirty. In the soil, there's nothing like it. I just feel a connection to my food. It's really good. This is one potato plant, and this is what it gave me so far. Here, let me see, am I gonna get any more out of it? Oh, yes, there was. Oh, that was a nice one. Okay. Oh, that's another one. Holy moly, that was a big one. Okay. So with this method, this is like a little example. This is one plant. This was in the ground. This was covered with hay. And it gave me trying to get them all in one scoop. I'm gonna get so dirty. All this. And I'm laying them all down here, and I'm making sure that they're gonna get the full sun for the time to cure. And I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna flip them upside down, and they're gonna cure in the sun a little bit to dry. It'll be easier to brush them off a little bit. And I'm gonna store them all winter that way. But this year, I sort of have a little plan that I wanna do. I've never seen anybody do this, what I'm gonna be doing in Zone 3 quite yet, on YouTube or in vlogs or anything. So I'm gonna try something a little different this year. You guys are gonna see what I'm gonna do once I harvest all this. I'm gonna reseed some old potatoes that I still have from last year and see what they're gonna do. I'm sort of wondering if I could plant them in the ground, if they'll sprout for next year, because there are still eyes on here and I feel like they might do something. So maybe I'll try to plant them and just see. I'm really curious because, I mean, you take the eyes off and there's still some new little eyes here. Anyways, because I still have a bunch of them. Look, see, it actually created its own little potatoes. I'm sure these are edible. Isn't that crazy how that works? Will they go dormant? Will they grow? I don't know. Okay, these ones are on the top. These are the Ruth Stout. I'm at the Ruth Stout methods. So this is the result I got for the potatoes, the white potatoes that were underneath the ground. So I have all the way to those potatoes over here, all the way to here. That's my result. I don't know how many are in there exactly, but you know, it's a good 50 pounds at least. And now I just started to dig out the Ruth Stout method bed. So I'm gonna go through here and see just how many are in this little spot per square foot. We shall see. Okay, so I just got my Ruth Stout bed just like a little bit uncovered with just the hay, right? So you see everything's on the surface. So I'm gonna come dig these out and see one plant at a time. So I have these are 2 potatoes that I planted, and this is one that I planted. Let me hold my camera. Look at this thing. It's huge, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not gonna have anything on the surface. But so far, my first one that I dug out was really impressive. So I'm gonna go see what's up with these ones. 1, 2. Potatoes. Alright, I just got done digging out my Ruth Stout bed, and for the 7 feet that I have, this is what I got. I have a feeling there's a little bit less in the Ruth Stout for the length of the bed compared to the length and the density of the ones that were inside the ground. I did, however, come across 2 huge potatoes in the Ruth Stout, but they were eaten from the inside. So I think that mice maybe got into them because they were on the surface of the soil. So my results for this bed here would be that the winner definitely is the potatoes in ground with hay on top, with no watering, no pampering. I took out the potato bugs like once or twice, and that's it. I didn't spray them or anything. So there we have it. So as I was clearing out the potato bed, you have time to think. I love being in the garden for this. You have time to think, to be like, okay, what am I going to do in here next year? And I come to thinking, what does nature do? So nature and potatoes, when they grow wild, they will stay in the ground, right? Some animals will come in, they'll scrounge, will maybe come and eat them or something. Bugs will get to them. But they tend to reseed themselves, right? I mean, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to get some really big potatoes and sacrifice them and plant them in this little bed here. Put some hay over it and see what next spring, what it'll give me. If I'm able to do that, I'm going to do that every year, because potatoes in the cold room, they will sprout if the temperature is not right. I'm lucky enough I was able to keep them all winter, but definitely if I can save that task in the springtime, I will. Alright, so I cleared it all out. I got my quaggrass out, and I'm going to plant some potatoes in here. I'm going to make sure to get them pretty deep and get a lot of hay on top, because it gets cold here. And I want to choose some really nice specimens. I don't want to choose any with some green on them, anything that's damaged. I want to have really good, like this one here is damaged. It's going to rot. So I'm going to get some really nice ones. And I know some of you are going to say, crop rotation. Why are you planting them at the same place? You need to rotate your crops. Well, the goal here is to do like nature. So yeah, I do have squash bugs. They're gonna probably come in here and munch on them, but I know now that they're here, so I'm gonna watch out for them in the springtime. And I also am thinking of doing a lot of research on things that I can plant that will repel them. I know that there's one girl here in Quebec that planted des graines de lin. What is graines de lin? She just went to the grocery store and got herself those seeds, and she planted them. And she said that she had really good results with them. So I might try that next year. plant some around here. Try to repel them as much as I can. I'm in a spot where it's really compacted. I didn't grow anything in here, and I didn't even put hay on top, so I just weeded this area, and the potatoes will decompact it. The worms will too over the winter when I put the hay over it. So hopefully I'll get something out of it. I'm really giving them some space this time around. Back in the soil. I know I saw this on Paul Gauchi. He's got the Garden of Eden, and he does this in his orchard, but he's in a real hotter climate than I am, so we shall see. I know some people get some container gardening and stuff for potatoes, but I learned this year I'm not a very good container gardener, so I'm just gonna stick with in-ground. I much prefer it this way. Maybe one day I'll have raised beds, so I can get like little hoops on top and stuff. So we shall see how this goes. I'm gonna keep some still for next year too, because I don't know if it's gonna work, and I want to have some for next year. But yeah, I'm gonna get some hay and put this over. So what does nature do? It sets its leaves on top of the soil, right? I'm gonna add some greenery. I'm not putting the stems in because they're just too long to break down. I could like leave a few branches in there, but I'm not leaving the stems in there. They won't have time to break down. I have a spot in my the other side of my sunchokes that I have whatchamacallit. There's a big step, and I'm trying to get some organic material on there to build up my soil, so one day it'll be a little taller. I have a little platform. So I just threw it all over there. I'm running out of foliage, but I finally got around to mowing my lawn, so I got some fresh grass cuttings that I'm gonna put up here. I would actually put horse poo in here if I could. It's just a little far away, so I'm just gonna deal with that for now. So I'm letting these cure in the sun for a few hours. They're drying out already. They're already on their way. But I put some dry hay over top of this bed so that they would have a nice dry spot to dry out. Because on the alley it was a little bit humid, so I'm just going to turn them over a few times, and I'm going to finish clearing out this section to put some more hay on top of it to close it for winter. Alright, so results for today. I replanted, reseeded some potatoes here. We'll see. All the way to this brick. It's for my reference. And I added some new hay inside this bed. Look at my borage. It's so beautiful. Still some bees on it. And then the next potato day, I'm going to wait till these ones die down just a little bit more, get a nice sunny day again, and then harvest them as well. So I am attempting to save these little guys. This is my Carigana, and this is my Persicaria that I planted. I maybe bunched them a little bit too close together. This is supposed to be a really big bush. So that's my intimacy fence. Look at those trees. They're changing. It's going to be really gorgeous here soon. My corn as well is doing pretty good. I opened one up the other day. It was sweet, but it wasn't yellow yet. So we'll see how that goes. I've never successfully grown any corn before.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
Alright, so everything is harvested. I have these ones and I have the ones that I also planted back in the garden to see if that test will work. So now that these are all cured for about like 4 hours outside, they're all dry. So for me it's perfect, so they can come inside and they will store in my cold room till next summer. So this is my cold room. This is where I put all my root vegetables, but it's not finished yet. As you see, I still have to finish insulating this because this is the top of my entranceway. So I have a whole bunch of insulation here, and look at these are the old potatoes. Work in progress, guys. Work in progress. I hope you like this video. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Have a good one. Just got done harvesting my red potatoes. Got some pretty big ones. Check it out. It's as big as my brain. Huge. There's just so many. Humongous. What a great harvest.